Welcome to this presentation where I will be discussing sine rules. This topic will mainly be explored in topic 3 under the geometry section and can be found in chapter 11 in the IB Math AA section. So let's get started with an example. Let's say I have a triangle right here. So I'm gonna draw a very nice triangle. I'm gonna have A over here. I'm gonna have B over here, and I'm gonna have C over here. I'm gonna give A a value of, let's say, 15 centimeters. I'm also gonna give C a value of X. I'm not gonna give it a number, I'm just gonna give it X. Now I'm gonna give angle BAC, so this one right here, a value of 38 degrees. And I'm gonna give value B 48 degrees. Doesn't make sense, but sure. If it doesn't make sense, don't worry. It's not a big deal. Now the question is going to prompt us, and it's going to ask us to find the value of B. So it wants us to find this length of this side of the triangle. So how are we going to do that? Well, this is where the law of sine, kicks in. Where the law of sine clearly states, and it can be found in your data booklets, or as the title says, formula booklet, we learned that A over sine A, that should be in capital, is equal to B over sine B, which is also equal to sine C over sine capital C. And this can be found on your data booklet. So I'm going to mention this can be found in the IB formula booklet. Here, formula booklet. Topic 3. So this can be found in your IB formula booklet under topic 3. So how are we going to apply this formula into our question so we can find the value of B? Well, it's pretty much simple. I'm going to go ahead and say I'm going to give A, so we have A, which is equal to 15 centimeters. Angle A, so I'm going to go BAC, which is going to equal to 38 degrees. And I have a BC, which will equal to 48 degrees. Now, how am I going to apply these into the formula? Well, it's quite simple. I'm going to have 15 centimeters over BAC, so that will be 38, sine 38, which will equal to B is equal to sine 48. Now, this will be a calculator question, and I'm just going to draw a calculator here so you guys remember. So this is a calculator question. You are allowed to use a calculator question, meaning that you will find this question in you will find this question in paper 2. You might find it in paper 1, but I haven't seen questions like this in the IB. Maybe once, but it rarely comes on the paper. So how are we going to come to solve this question? Well, it's quite simple. Depending on how many marks the question is, you can either solve this question by using n solvers. So you have very two steps. So if it's 3 marks, so if it's 3 marks, you can solve using nsolver, which in most cases it's a lot easier to just do the math. If it's 4 marks, then you have to show steps. So you can't just go into your calculator, type in nsolve, and then just plug in the answer. You have to show you're working. Even in step number 1, you also have to show that you've applied the nsolve function feature to find your answer. But let's focus on this equation right here. Function, and apply and then solve for b. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take 15 multiplied by sine 48. See what I did? I just moved that up here, over sine 38. Then I'm gonna plug it into my calculator. And I'm gonna say 15 multiplied by sine 48 over sine sine 38. Click enter, and it's gonna give me the value of 18.106. Now remember, always sometimes the question won't specify to how many significant figures your answer must be in. If it does, give your answer in that specific significant figure. If not, always give it to 3 significant figures. So in our case, that would be 18.1 centimeters, and that will be our answer right there. Now let's look through another question. To just see how we can apply this once again in a different way. So I'm just gonna erase all of this. I'm still gonna leave my stuff. I'm just gonna change the question right here. This will also be calculator, but let's go ahead. Now let's say I have an angle. I have a triangle right here. Let me draw this one. All right, so I'm gonna have A over here, I'm gonna have B over here, and I'm gonna have C over here. Now I'm gonna give 2 sides and 1 angle. So let's have A, which will equal to 25 centimeters. I'm gonna have C equal to 30 centimeters, and I'm gonna have B. Now the goal is I want to find the angle of C. So we'll axis, and we know that angle A is 40 degrees. So how am I going to go on to solve this question? Well, it's going to be quite easy. It's not that hard. It's the same application, but these questions are typically calculator questions. So again, all of them are, but this one specifically might be in the ranges of 2 to 3 marks, depending on how generous they are. So I'm going to teach you a trick. Now, like I said before, you have 2 ways of solving it. You have step 1, where you solve using nsolver if it's between 2 to 3 marks. And you also have, if it's 4 marks, show detailed steps. Well, here's how I'm going to go on solving this. Again, I'm going to just plug in my values here. So we have 25 over sine 40, which will equal to 30 over sine x. Now, there are different ways of solving this. I'm just going to go ahead and solve it using step number 1 and step number 2. So how are we going to go about using step number 1? Well, it's quite simple. Using your GDC, so open your GDC, and so open GDC, that would be step number 1, and I'm going to mention that this section will be here. I'm going to continue. First, you open GDC. Let me move this one to... Let me move it here. All right, step 1, open GDC. Step 2, go to your cal, open cal. Or what is it called? Yeah, calculate, sorry. So let me just change that. So open calculator or calculate, yeah. Win for window. 3, go to menu. Then, so menu, then algebra. I'm just going to put 3. Then click 1. Now, once you click 1, you're going to be met with something like this. And solve. You're going to have a bracket and you're going to have a bracket. So what are we going to do once we reach this point? So I'm going to, sorry. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and say, all right, we have n solve, open bracket, 25 over sine 40. Yeah, let me rewrite that. Sine 40, which will equal to 30 over, and pay attention here, sine x. This value that you're going to try to find should always, always, always be x. Then I'm going to put comma, which you can find on the bottom left of your calculator. And then click enter. So then you click enter. And you should get the value of, so let me put that on my calculator, 25 over sine 40, which will equal to 30 over sine x. Then we go ahead and put comma x, enter. And we should get 50.457. Again, 3 significant figures unless the question specifies another number. So we can just put an approximate symbol and say, all right, we got 50.5 degrees. And that would be our answer using step number 1. Now, again, they will never ask you to... they're never going to ask you to show steps. But if they did, and here's a trick where we can link this one and this one. So as we can see, look at these steps that we did here. If you were to include, so if I were to write what's in here and then give my outcome of 50.5 degrees, you will get 4 full marks. Because you've shown the examiner that you have done step 1, step 2, step 3, and you've given the answer. So you get 1 mark for just saying open GDC, second question for open calculation, third mark for method mark for showing the method of, or showing the steps going through menu, 3 and 1. So that's a 3 here. 3. And then giving your final answer, and then giving an incorrect decimal point, you will get 4 marks. So here I've just linked step 1 with step 2, and you will get 4 full marks. Hopefully you guys found this video helpful. If not, please mention down in the comments, and I will hopefully soon make more another video where I will go through IB style question and then going through the marks. Again, have a great day.